News from Woj. Earlier, we were talking about Zion Williamson, the #1 draft pick, to the Pelicans. Well, we have an update on his knee from Woj. It says a severe injury has been ruled out for Zion Williamson's right knee. It's great news. But he is expected to miss a period of weeks to start the regular season, league sources tell ESPN. The Pelicans are clearly treating the injury with an abundance of caution, but there's no shortage of confidence on his full recovery. Stephen A. Smith, what's your immediate reaction?
My immediate reaction is to blow to the NBA. Don't get me wrong, it'll recover. We'll all recover. But the thing about it is this. This season might be the greatest season in the last quarter century. I'm telling you right now, there are legitimately 9 title contenders in the NBA. And even though Zion and New Orleans wasn't considered to be one of them, you still had people clamoring the opening night for when he was going to play. The fact that that has been delayed, it's just a sizzle that dims to some degree. It'll recapture itself, don't get me wrong, but damn, you were looking forward to 2 things on opening night. The Lakers versus the Clippers Tuesday night. I'll be there. And, of course, Zion opening night. That's what you were looking forward to. One of those opportunities has been stripped from you now.
I get sometimes maybe overly concerned about athletes and injuries. Like, sometimes they just got to play. But in this case, I remember thinking when that sneaker exploded and the knee went in college, like, don't play any more college ball. Like, because we've never seen someone like Zion Williamson. The comps, like you'll talk about Charles Barkley. I brought up Blake Griffin when we first were trying to think of who they remind of, but that's not exactly right either. He is so, like, densely muscular and fast and stop and start at that size and speed. Like, that's why I bring up Derrick Rose. The engine was too big for the frame, you know, and Derrick Rose is, you know,
it was
muscles
really
on
about
muscles.
him cutting so much.
For sure, but it's the same sort of thing. Like, how much torque and force and stop can the human frame take? And that's the feeling I get from Zion. So,
Max, are you concerned that Zion might be a chronically injured player? Is it too early?
My concern, of course, you have to be concerned about that, because what else can stop Zion Williamson, right? Like, you're and more than just a concern like any athlete, he's the kind of guy who wants to play. He said playing college ball makes him happy. Like, this is the commitment he needs to make and everything. He's the kind of guy who's going to push the coach constantly and do it in a way that the coach is going to want to play him. So it's going to take enormous discipline from the Pelicans organization, who, let's face it, they got 6 years to make it work with Zion.
Right, they got
because then he's out of there. That's what happens in a market like that. Every top guy, like, and then when they see you can't put a championship team around them, even sometimes if you can, then they want to go someplace to amplify their brand, to have a better chance to win. So there's going to be pressure on the Pelicans organization to balance wanting to keep him healthy with getting the most out of him and trying to win at the same time. It's going to take a lot of discipline, you know, for that franchise.
Absolutely. And a franchise that always is dealing with injury. I feel for Alvin Gentry. His entire tenure there's been some star or group of stars that's been hurt. But the good news is right now, we hear from Woj, they feel very confident on his full recovery. We'll see how they handle it, okay? All right, coming up, guys, we're going to talk a little bit of football.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, time for some fun. It's a fun Friday.
I think the whole show's been fun personally, but that's just me.
Absolutely, yes, and why not? The NFL's Week 7 got underway last night with the Chiefs taking on the Broncos. So let's...
I'm sorry, just like he had to debate you on that. Even though he agreed with you, he had to turn it into a debate.
Right. Can't we just have a nice
I'm sitting here for 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? I'll be dead if I'm going to say one segment was entertaining. Whole damn show was entertaining in America. And I know you know that.
I'm sorry for you to have to come into the hostility. What's up, Jonathan Vilma?
I'm just living a dream.
That's right.
All right, let's do it. We have a statement right now, a game right now where I make a statement, and then you guys will tell us either to book it or forget it, okay? So Rams coach Sean McVay says Todd Gurley is making progress as he recovers from a thigh contusion, but Gurley was still a limited participant in practice. Book it or forget it, Stephen A. Smith. Todd Gurley will have his first 100-yard rushing game of the season versus the Falcons.
I think you can book it. I'm so disappointed in the Falcons. They're one of the biggest disappointments that I've experienced this year. I'm going to sit up there and say what can go wrong will go wrong with them too. I'm going to say book that.
I'm going to say forget it, because if the Rams are wise, they'll use him to win. And I think they will run up a lead here. And then you don't want to take your chances. The main thing is that he's healthy, that you make the playoffs, and he's healthy for them. I'm going to say forget it.
I'm going to say forget it as well. When I've seen Todd Gurley the past 4-5 games, I watch him and say he doesn't look like himself. So this injury is a lot more than what they're leading on. I don't see him being as explosive as Todd Gurley's been in the past to gain 100 yards. Forget it.
Shame. He's such a great running back.
Yeah.
All right, Max, this one's for you. Book it or forget it. Mitchell Trubisky, will he lead the
Forget
Bears?
it. Whatever it is, it's forget it. I'm not a believer in Trubisky. I'm sorry. Like, I get suspicious whenever
Make your own game,
the
Max.
first thing you see from a quarterback is like he can outrun the linebackers. Yeah, that's great, but you traded up for a guy because he can outrun the linebacker. Can he read the defenses and make the throws? And I have not seen that consistently from him. I'm not a believer. He's okay. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
I agree. Period. I agree with Max.
Okay, all right. Y'all are not
Keep it
playing by the
short.
rules.
Yeah, let's just move on. I agree.
Why are we going to waste time talking about Mitchell Trubisky?
Ooh.
You talk about Khalil Mack and anybody on their defense, fine. They're the 30th ranked passing attack.
I'm saying you're messing up the game.
I'm sorry.
All right, book it or forget it.
I apologize.
Jonathan, this one's for you. Do you want to play by the rules or?
I'll play by the rules.
All right.
Give it to me. You know, I think I know what it is, but give it to me.
All right, the 49ers, they will finish with the best record in the NFC. Book it or
Forget
forget
it.
it. Okay.
The 49ers have the Seahawks twice. The 49ers still have the Packers, and the 49ers still have the Saints. They are going to lose 3 of those 4 games. At best, 2 of those 4 games. The Saints will be the ones with the best record. They have the easiest schedule moving forward.
I'm going to book it. And the reason I'm going to book it is because even if San Francisco ends up losing 3 games, I don't think the Saints are going to go 13-3. I think that San Francisco, based on its defense, they might lose in the playoffs, but I still think they'll manage to win more regular season
Now,
games.
remember, the Saints get Drew Brees back later on in the season.
I love the Saints to start the season. I still think they're excellent. They could go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to say book this. I think the Niners are for real. Shanahan, look what happened to the Atlanta offense when he left. Garoppolo hasn't even shown you what he can really do, why Belichick wanted to move on from Brady a couple years ago. And the defense is, if it's not the Patriots with the best defense in the league, maybe it's the Niners. I'm going to say book it.
I will say this. I think Drew Brees is going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to pick him over porn star Jimmy.
Oh, wow.
Let's move on.
Yeah, when it comes to the playoffs, you might be right.
Look, we're talking about the 1 and 2 seeds in the NFC.
There we go.
All right.
Fine with that.
Book it or forget it. Stephen A. Smith for you. The Rodgers-LaFleur partnership will lead to a Packers division title run this season.
Book it. I will book it. I think that Chicago's offense is suspect. I think that Minnesota's offense is suspect. I don't give a damn what you did against the Redskins and then the Eagles. I'm sorry, the Giants and then the Eagles. Okay, I think their offense is suspect. And I think that the Detroit Lions have talent. Patricia's got them aimed in the right direction, but they still haven't learned to win yet. And we know that Aaron Rodgers knows how to get it done. I'm rolling with that bad man.
I'm saying book it for the same reason. It's by default, sort of. I don't believe in the Vikings. I don't believe in the Bears. I like the Lions a lot. I think Detroit could maybe do something here and maybe even make a run when the time is right. But if you're going to ask me, really, who am I picking, Aaron Rodgers or the other guy when I'm not sure, I'll go with Aaron Rodgers.
100%. I agree with both of you guys. Book it.
All right, Max, this one's for you. Cousins will have more touchdown passes than Stafford on Sunday. Book it or forget it.
Forget it. And also, don't care. Like, Cousins is the kind of guy, a lot of empty calorie stats. If you need eight yards, he'll get you 6. You know, if you're playing an overmatched opponent, he'll throw a bunch of touchdowns, and who cares? Like, Stafford, on the other hand, his career is interesting to me. If he does something here, like if he eventually makes that playoff run, we're going to think about him very differently, and I think he has the ability to do it.
Oof, I'm going book it. You mentioned everything, which I do agree with, except the Detroit Lions defense, pass defense, terrible. That's the reason why he's going to have more pass yards. The pass defense for Detroit, as good as Patricia is, and he's trying to get them better, still not there yet. And Cousins, he's ripped up bad pass defenses in previous games. It's going to happen again.
I'm going to say forget it because I think Zimmer's going to give the ball to Dalvin Cook. Period.
No trust in Cousins.
No.
That's okay.
All right, Jonathan, this is for you. Book it or forget it. Deshaun Watson, is he a top 3 MVP candidate?
100%. Book it.
Okay.
Of course. Who is better than him right now besides Russell Wilson? I have Russell Wilson 1, Deshaun Watson 2.
Mahomes just got his.
He's hurt.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
But obviously, when he comes back, he'll be up there. But there's nobody else right now. It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, McCaffrey to me was always like 3, 4, 5, something like that. But I agree with Deshaun Watson. He's got
Book it.
Yeah.
Same here.
All right, Stephen A. Smith, book it or forget it. The Bengals will get their first win of the season versus the Jaguars.
Please forget that. They're horrible. No, I'm not picking them. Matter of fact, I think they're my candidate. They're my candidate to go 0-16, probably than with Miami. Bengals are awful. The organization is awful. Yes, they should have got rid of Marvin Lewis. I'll never apologize for that. You can't get a playoff victory in 16 years. You need to go. But who the hell told them to hire Zach Taylor? They say he's on the sideline. This is him on the sideline.
What is going on?
Like, what is going on here? What have I got myself into? Why the hell did I stay in L.A.? That's what it is. That's what that is.
Right now.
Like, honestly, book it or forget it. The only reason to watch this game is if you have fantasy players. You're playing daily fantasy. You have fantasy players in the game. Otherwise, who would know the answer to this question? You people sitting around still watching the Jaguars and the Bengals?
It's 2 weeks in a row. They gave us the Redskins Miami a week ago.
Oh, wait, I agree. Yeah, we're moving on.
All right,
Yeah.
quickly, guys, because you brought up the Dolphins, so I'll just throw it out to Max, you first. Will Ryan Fitzpatrick lead the Dolphins to a victory, an upset win over the Bills?
Forget it.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Forget it.
I mean, how are we disrespecting the Bills' D right now? No, completely
ferocious
forget it.
defense.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Forget it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Oh, Stephen, you got something to say?
Something to say about Zion real quick.
Yeah.
I got a tip from somebody, strained meniscus. He said somebody told me what they're not telling us is that he's got a strained meniscus and Nike is concerned about his weight. And they want him to use this opportunity to get some weight off of him so he doesn't put as much strain on that knee.
Yeah.
That's what I'm being told.
Or Nike could make a shoe that doesn't explode when he stops.
Yes.
That would help, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. LA next week, right? The start of the NBA season. First Take is there all week long. Stephen A. loves to be in LA. Don't miss it.
I sure
and you've
do.
got your
I sure
Lakers,
do.
your Clippers facing off to start the
Lakers
NBA
fan,
season.
but yeah, Clippers going to win the whole thing.
All right. Thanks for watching First Take. Happy weekend.
All right.